Some lifestyles have their very own requirements. For those whose daily work requires demanding off-roading, carrying thousands of pounds of payload and towing, and for those who fancy spending time in the hinterlands and backwoods. Besides the adventure travelers, there are some occupations like manufacturing and independent contractors, construction surveyors, roofers, inspectors, and likes. They need a pickup truck, so popular in the US for the utility and freedom it offers. An electric truck was always an exciting prospect, and when Rivian launched the R1T in September 21, followed by Ford's F-150 Lightning in April 22, that segment of the market got exciting. Here are my impressions of the Rivian R1T. I drove the R1S first in December 22 at the Venice Beach near Los Angeles, and then the R1T this week in San Jose. It's a difficult vehicle to get access to. The Rivian R1T, which has won tons of reviews, is an 835 horsepower truck with 908 pound-feet of torque. With its quad motor design, that's a motor for each wheel, it does 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, weighing 7,248 pounds. Is that a sports car or what? Rivian requested me to not take any videos of the actual drive, but they were encouraging of me to spend all the time I wanted on reviewing the car, its design, and its several features. And I found quite a few. It has a 54-inch bed. At first thought, it's certainly smaller than the one in the Ford F-150 Lightning or the Hummer EV, but that's best judged by the actual buyer and the perceived use. The power gate lowers automatically, but has to be closed manually. It had no assistance to climb up, unlike the Ford F-150 Lightning that has a support bar and folding steps, or the Hummer EV that has steps on the gate. The R1T has 6 USB-C outlets and 4 120-volt points, one in the rear passenger area, one in the gear tunnel, and 2 in the bed. And also in the bed is an air compressor for the tires, all set for an adventure. It carries a stunning 1760 pounds of payload, less than the F-150, but more than the Hummer EV, and has a towing capacity of 11,000 pounds. Again, best judged by the actual buyer and the relevant needs. I opted to drive around the city, though the Rivian representative did ask me if I wanted to check the freeway. They were very kind and friendly and were going out of the way in answering my questions. The drive itself was super comfortable. Coming out of my low-sitting Model 3, this felt like miles over the ground. The truck immediately showed great maneuverability getting out of the parking lot. This is important for trucks driving in cities as they are generally large. It handled the turns wonderfully and the blind spot check was amazing. I could test a bit of its performance on a street permitting 40 miles per hour. Gliding into another lane when changing was befitting a shorter sports car with all the near 7,250 pounds of weight. In fact, the feel itself was less of a truck, notwithstanding its size, but that of a racer. You have to drive to experience this. I missed checking its famed Meridian sound system and the Bluetooth speaker. Neither the torch in the driver door from the famous 7777 cell from the battery pack. Its EV dynamics was stunning too, with an EPA rated range of 314 miles, which I believe would drop by 40 with a change of tires. I would in the real world expect 280 to 290 miles. It has a 11.5 kilowatt onboard charger for level 2 charging, but with a massive 135 to 140 kilowatt hours battery pack, 125 usable I guess. Even a daily charging from say 40 to 70% would take about 3.5 to 4 hours of level 2 charging. Rivian recommends 70% of daily charging limit, which you can forego on long road trips. If I would own this vehicle, I would keep it to 40 to 70. The thing to keep in mind that to avail the full 48 amp level 2 capability of the onboard charger, if at home, you would need a 60 amp dedicated circuit. Of course, when charging overnight, daily, it wouldn't matter. Even 32 amps would get you 40 to 70% in say 5 hours. Many new electric vehicle charging equipments enable such tempering down. When DC fast charging, the truck affords a decent 220 kilowatt peak charging rate. But like mentioned before in other videos, it's the charging curve that matters, or how long in the charging session does the vehicle hold that peak rate is what matters, more than the actual peak rate. Just like the charging efficiency matters more than peak range. Always to remember that these are big vehicles with big battery packs and hence offer far lower overall efficiencies in comparison to smaller vehicles. 2 to 2.5 miles per kilowatt hour in real world conditions would be considered fair, even lower when towing or with a payload, in cold conditions with a cold battery, inclement weather, etc. Storage is an important utility factor in pickup trucks. Rivian has 62 cubic feet of total storage, of which the multi-layered front trunk or frunk accounts for 11 cubic feet. The 54-inch bed, I believe, brings 22.6 cubic feet of storage. Don't think an adventure traveler will really complain about this vehicle. With software and the system, Rivian is really the only company besides Tesla which truly makes what we call the full stack car. With seamless over the air updates, is the nearest to what Tesla is. On a different note, it's also the only one besides Tesla which is going for its own charging network, dubbed the Rivian Adventure Network or RAN. Have heard some flying news of Mercedes going for their own network as well, but we keep to things already into existence. Rivian's ambitious goal of 600 locations announced in 2021 seemed too ambitious and since may have been tempered down a bit realistically. Having said that, my experience of its software left plenty to desire. Though the UI was fairly zippy, the software lagged. The screen response time was slow, and important traffic information appeared to lag too. Have not really driven it enough, but this could be concerning. The dual screens look the best design, with important information right under the steering and the big screen for the other not so urgent information. But it's not something that would worry me too much, as these things are constantly improving. RJ Scaringe, the founder CEO, in his Instagram Q&A last week, offered some good insights. Besides speaking about the production ramp up, he offered a peek into the R2 platform, the approach to design and colors, the Rivian Adventure Network and its proposed new corridors, and the ambition to cover the country east to west, the new Enduro drive unit and its implementation into the Rivian delivery vans, and subsequent plans to move it into the R1 vehicles, the Max Pack, another much awaited feature, the extensive testing infrastructure at Rivian, and on software, the proposed improvements to mapping, route planning, including the EV routes, integration of points of interest, search, and significantly, an augmented reality feature for the top down camera, a redo of the passenger area screen to capture more opportunity there, in fact, by mid summer this year, and more improvements on the climate control, the audio interface, etc. You can find a link to that video in the description below. Can't emphasize enough the importance of this company. To have come up with a product like this straight away on the founding is amazing. Not only does it speak about their design and technology prowess, but also about the broad vision towards a better planet. To drive adventure as their primary theme, it displays the desire to encourage people to move into nature. This is very good for the race. I was very happy to drive this car and to interact with the company. It's needless to say that I'll be following their work, and I hope you will join in with me as I do it.